This is a update video on the status of the work at hand currently for KETTLEWELL Resonant Covers. Okay, well, let me explain how the cover works and then how it's being made. Most harmonicas, this is what I play, it's a Seidel Saxony orchestra tune. And the covers are just very thin stamped metal. They're actually stamped on a stamping machine. They give you a place. What does a cover do? It's a place to put your hand on where you're not hitting the reeds. But it also has some acoustic properties too. In this case, just shoving the sound out. But you know, musical instruments do more than shove sound out. Give you an example. Trumpet. Tube's pretty long, 5 feet maybe more. And it's kind of one's diameter and gets a little bigger and a little bigger, and then out here it's even bigger. As the sound waves move through this shape, one sound wave multiplies upon another, and you end up with a beautiful tone. Because, I don't know, you don't sing into a trumpet, you go. And that turns into the beautiful sound of a trumpet because of what the acoustic properties are. Boo Boo's like, that was a really good trumpet, Dad. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is that a cover that had shapes cut in it on the undersides, this would be the top cover, there'd be one just like it underneath. But so you put a cover like that on here, see, and now you've got these chambers, bump, 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 that are shaped, and not only do they have that half shape there, but each one is fluted a little bit here from low to high, so it goes from a low depth at the mouthpiece to a higher depth at the back of the harmonica. So what does it create? It creates half of a trumpet. Like if you cut a comfort trumpet in half, you'd have that shape. And I realize that it is tricky to cut it so that you don't impinge the movement of a breath saver or a reed. And you have the screws you got to deal with, the screw heads on the reed plate. That's got to be dealt with too. The one in Colorado, he's making it out of PVC first on a mill and then plans to go to brass. I'm right back to Lexan again, aged Lexan. So I'll cut my 2 cover shapes out of this, and I have another one here. They're green. I wanted blue. I live with green. I'm happy with green. Green looks cool. I like blue too because I think it really works well with silver, but this is what I have right now. It's going to be clear or the green. So anyway, I'll shape them, and I've already tested it in brass on one channel. Works. The concept is valid. It improves the tone whole bunches. I'm kind of thinking about it on this because this is what I play, see? And it happens to be a very small little harmonica, and it'll be a lot bigger, more like a Hohner CX12, which I like. So it's going to be fatter. It increases the shape. And by the way, this Lexan's the same thing that I hand make these sliders out of, the slider like that. I thought of this tonight because I was talking with a luthier about how I designed these sliders and all the problems we had earlier with other cutters. And I realized I could make this out of Lexan. I've got the Lexan here. And it's thick enough to do the job if I don't crack it. Which doesn't happen when you're working by hand. Cracking that Lexan is when you try to use a machine on it. It just doesn't like to be pushed on hard, and it'll crack, and once it's cracked, it's shot. But that's why all the drilling here is done by hand holding a drill. It's never held in a vise or anything. It just can't handle that. Needs the wiggling. Anyway, that's the update. So he's making a set. I'm going to make a set. And I'm going to take my time. I picture, I want there to be a lip here at the back like there is on this one. I want a lip. And I bent these covers to have a curve, see? They don't come that way, I make them that way. But I want a curve on this too. Now that starts making things a little bit more complex, but if it's a handmade one-off, at very least I'll end up with one that I'm happy with playing in Lexan, which has the advantage of low weight and they last forever. I've really been very pleased with this as a building material. By the way, this piece right here could make a nice one too. It's big enough. More than big enough. Huh. That's not such a bad idea. Oh yes. Yeah, I could make one out of this. I can whack that off with a hard mallet that's plastic, and I can cut the other one out of here. I could probably make 2 cover sets out of this. That's what's going on. I think it's a cool concept. I gave the idea to the public domain. I didn't patent it. I expressed the concept, put it on video, and released it so that it meets the legal requirements of anybody can do it. I remember I did call Lars Seifert at Seidel a few years ago with this idea. He's a president. He's a really nice guy. He goes, David, it's a very good idea, but I think you will have to do this. And they didn't want to do that. Oh well. That's the story.